Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another 1.19 Snapshot opinion video. This time we're talking about 22W14A, and we have two pretty big additions. First off is the addition of the Mangrove Swamps, and upon first visit, these are really awesome looking. There's a ton of bees, and supposedly you can see frogs in here as well, although I haven't seen any yet. Now, in the Mangrove Swamps, we get the mangrove trees, and you can see they've got their roots and the little propagules and all of that. They also have vines growing off of them, and they're really different. I really like them. Traversing this biome feels really different than the other biomes. It's a little bit chaotic and kind of cluttered, and it's a lot of fun, pretty cool. In the Mangrove Swamp, you're also going to see mud in addition to regular grass. The mud looks pretty good next to the mangrove wood. It does look a little weird here, where there's like one layer of mud and then it just turns into dirt. I feel like mud should be at the bottom of rivers now. Some of these mangrove trees get really tall. It's very interesting. It's going to be a little bit of a trick to kind of manage these, or if you wanted to make like a tree farm, this is going to be a really different farm. Been wandering around for about 5 minutes, and I haven't seen any frogs yet. So I don't know if it's just I'm not lucky enough, or they're just really rare. Looks like slimes can spawn in mangrove swamps, and it looks like they have a really bad time. This particular mangrove swamp is pretty big, but I've seen a couple that are kind of dinky, and they usually spawn next to other warm climate biomes like deserts, jungles, savannas, things like that. Getting away from mobs is going to be really tricky in the mangrove swamps. There are a lot of bees. In case you were wondering, there are still regular swamps in addition to the mangrove swamps, so these aren't getting replaced. That witch is really out of place. That's weird. Try something here. Kill that. Type frog. Yeah. 6 of them died. So not a ton of frogs, I guess. Interesting that I haven't seen a single one. As I sit here and just kind of watch, you can see the leaves just kind of randomly despawn. I don't know if that's just a generation bug or if it has something to do with how the propagules work. It's kind of weird though. Well, for a first pass, this is really awesome. Definitely on the right track. I wish the frogs were a little more plentiful. I wish the bees were a little less plentiful. And I wish the mud was kind of at the bottom of all water now. The deep dark biome still seems pretty rare. And you know, I don't mind rare. You know, like a stronghold is pretty rare, but the thing is, I can use an Eye of Ender to find a stronghold. With the deep dark and an ancient city, I just have to wander thousands of blocks at the very bottom of the world and hopefully get lucky. I wish there was some sort of mechanic or item that would help us track down an ancient city. I think that would be kind of cool. Okay, looks like we finally found one. I saw some skulk poking through up there. Yep. Awesome. So the second big addition is in the ancient cities. You can now find something called an echo shard. So, besides us, the Warden also gets mad at other mobs now. So you can see there's a zombie or something that is making him mad. So I'm wondering now, is it going to wander all the caves and kill every single bat and zombie that it runs across? Or is it eventually going to despawn? So he's gotten pretty far from the ancient city. Yeah, every time this bat flies by, makes him angry again. Eventually he's going to run into these zombies and creepers over here and these skeletons. See, that bat up there just set him off. Yeah, I don't know if this was a good idea. One bug fix is it can pathfind through lava now, as you can plainly see. And here we go again. Now it's mad at the creepers. I don't think that's going to end well. And after about 7 minutes, he digs his way back down into the ground. So yeah, that's a real problem. If the ancient city is near any other type of biome that has monsters, the Warden's going to catch wind of that and just go chase them indefinitely and never despawn. So they're going to have to do something about that. So apparently they did some work to make sure there's not so much lava intersecting and burning up all of the wool. And I thought they did some work to make sure they didn't intersect with aquifers, but it seems like there's still some work to be done there. So this ancient city is a little more scrappy than a lot of them that I've run into. A little bit of a mess. As you can see here, there's a major aquifer here that intersects with the city, and it's pretty crazy. I was looking around and couldn't figure it out. The frame is actually inside the aquifer. You can see actually a fair amount of the ancient city is underwater. So I don't know if that's by design or if that's just a fluke. Yeah, bats in the ancient cities is going to be a problem. I mean, I can sneak around as much as I want, but if this thing keeps summoning the Warden, that's not going to be a good time. So let's talk for a moment about these echo shards. In that ancient city, I ended up finding 20 of them, which is not super rare, but pretty rare. That's the only place that you can find them. And if you take the echo shards and put them around a compass, you can make something called a recovery compass. It's a pretty cool looking device, and basically what this thing does is it points you to where you died. So you can see right now it's just kind of spinning freely. I'm going to put it in my chest here. I'm going to set my spawn. And then if I run over here, and I jump from a high place, and I jump from a high place, I die. So if I respawn, and then I grab my recovery compass, points very specifically to where I died. If I follow it, I could get my items back. So two things about the recovery compass. One is it will kind of just spin unless you're in the correct dimension. So if you died in the end, you need to go to the end before it'll point. Or if you died in the nether, you need to go to the nether before it will point to where you died. The other thing is, it only works in 2 dimensions, so it'll point you to the coordinates, but not the depth. So, you know, if you died down in the ancient city, but you respawn up at sea level, it will guide you to the proper coordinates, but then you're going to have to dig way, way down to get to your stuff. Still, that's a pretty cool thing. So, you know, Echo Shard sort of insinuates that it's a shard of something, a piece of something, and I think that's a really, really cool idea. I really want to know more about it, where it came from. Hopefully there's some more potential uses in the future for it, because it's a really nice looking item. So between Swift Sneak and the Recovery Compass, we now have 2 reasons to go down to the ancient cities. But is that enough? You know, I kind of wish there was a reason that we had to go back. Like, if there was something that was really OP, like if there was a sword or a chest plate that was really, really strong, but once it got used up, instead of breaking, let's say we had to go back to the ancient city to charge it back up. If there was some relic or something you had to touch it to or put it inside, that would be a really good excuse for having to go all the way back there and deal with the Warden again, if you wanted to keep this really awesome piece of gear functional. That would be a neat idea. Hopefully they do something, some reason to go all the way back down there and deal with that. Another thing they added is Renewable Clay. If you put a mud block above dripstone and let it drip for a while, it'll eventually convert into clay. Now, I don't know if this is as big a deal as it used to be. You know, clay used to be pretty rare. You could only find it at the bottom of rivers or in swamps. Now with lush caves, we do have access to quite a lot of it. But for those of us who want to make a clay farm, this is a really cool thing. Well, so far things are looking really, really good with this update. The addition of the Mangrove Swamps is fantastic. There's definitely some tweaking that needs to happen there, but they're heading in the right direction. The experimental stuff with the Warden, really happy they're trying that stuff out, but definitely need to do some more tweaking. The addition of new loot and a reason to go to the ancient cities, I'm really glad to see that. I still think we need something that's kind of overpowered, some reason to revisit the ancient cities, but we'll see what they do there. And that's all I've got for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.